Do you think Manziel tried to stay in the pocket more on Saturday than he has in the past? And do you feel that he was looking at all his receivers, you know, trying to hit him and whatnot?
I think Johnny is being Johnny. You know, he's not the tallest quarterback, so sometimes when you got those 6'5" guys in front of you, you can't see. So he tends to get out of the pocket. He's very effective throwing on the run. Coach Sumner's done a great job, you know, this fall camp of having him throw from the pocket. You know, anytime he scrambles, Coach Sumner kind of blows the whistle. We're trying to make him, you know, throw it from the pocket a little bit, but he does a great job whether he's in the pocket or outside the pocket.
Go ahead and give us your synopsis of how Matt Jokel did Saturday, going through his progressions as well as coach.
I think he did great. You know, we didn't ask him to go out and win the game. He did a great job of managing the game, operating the offense, getting us in the best play possible. He displayed that, you know, when he's needed, we can depend on him to lead our offense.
Standing in the back left.
Coach, one of the things that hasn't been talked about is this changeover for the team between the quarterbacks. Can you talk about a little bit what went into preparing the players mentally to have that switch over at the half?
There was nothing different on our part what we did. Our offense is our offense. You know, we run our plays no matter which quarterback's in there. Sometimes from a receiver standpoint, when Johnny's back there, you got a scramble drill goes to effect a lot more than it does with some of those other guys. But from an offensive standpoint, we didn't change our game plan, anything like that.
Suzanne Hagel.
Clarence, talking about your receivers, who caught your eye the most out of those young guys? Who graded out the best, I guess?
You know, it's kind of hard to say. Ricky had a couple, you know, had a big catch in there, but he didn't finish the game. So you'd like to see a lot more from him. Jeremy Taboyo had a couple catches in there, and we would have liked to get Quill the ball a little bit more, but we weren't able to do that. But those three guys, we're impressed with them. We think the future's bright here for those guys, as well as the other three guys that we brought in. So,
is Ricky going to be okay for Saturday?
I have no idea. I hadn't seen Ricky since Saturday. The doctors take care of that part of it. I'm not sure.
Go to Brent in front and we'll finish it on one side.
Coach, someone said after the game that he thought Johnny was pressing a little bit. Did you see that as well? And I know his time was limited, but maybe he might not have had quite the speed he had at the end of last year, and is that just a matter of getting those type of reps?
I just think, you know, it was a lot of pressure with, you know, the whole off season and things of that nature. Coming in the middle of a game and not having the first quarter or so to kind of calm down. The game was already active. I think it's kind of different for a guy who's used to starting games and getting the butterflies out early enough before you can get into your rhythm.
How difficult is it dealing with all the suspensions on the defense, and are you worried that the first 5 action in a game for several of those guys is going to be against Alabama?
Well, I mean, yeah, you know, the good thing is we're going to be fresh, that's for sure. we're going to be injury free, we're going to be fresh. You know, you think about it a little bit, no doubt, but, you know, what may be hurting us now is going to help us in the long run. You know, I know going into, when they do get back, that we're going to have them all available. They're all going to be healthy, they're all going to be fresh, and we're building depth right now for our future, for the rest of this season. So what might be hurting us right now, in the future, I think is going to help us. And we just got to live with that. We got to deal with that.
With the new rule about targeting, do you have to talk to your players a lot about that, or is it just kind of reiterating things that you've already been?
Well, no, I mean we've talked at length. It's the world we live in, and we've told the kids that is the rule. The rules are, like it or not, those are the rules. And we've talked to them about lowering their target and bringing their arms. So in DeShazier's case, he's got the cast on his hand. So as you look at it, I mean, there is one arm around, but he can't. You know, it looks like he's launching because of the cast. That's a flag. That's a penalty. It is what it is. And we're talking about lowering our target and bringing your arms. And if you do that, then you won't get those penalties.
We're on the right side, Ben.
Hey, Mark, how much are y'all going to focus on tackling this week?
We've been focusing on it quite a bit. You know, we've been focusing quite a bit on it already. Obviously, it'll be a point of emphasis. But, you know, them guys are trying to get lined up and strike a target and disengage, and then they got to tackle. It's, you know, and I'm not making excuses for them. I just think that there was a lot on their plate. And by the time contact was made, their backs were pretty big. And we're going to see another big back this week. I think some of that will come as we play more. As I went home and watched college football, I mean, everybody's missing tackles across college football. It's the unnecessary evil of the first couple of weeks of games because you don't tackle a lot in practice. You try to get everybody to the game. So, will we work on it? Yes, without a doubt.
With that much youth on the field, I mean, do you kind of have to dumb it down a little bit for lack of a better word?
You do. And, you know, I felt Saturday I couldn't get in the rhythm. You know, I'm a rhythm kind of guy that I'm calling the game. Boy, we had a lot of moving parts in there, different pieces. You know, it just felt like we couldn't get in the rhythm.
So Brent, here in the front.
A lot of us wrote in the offseason that Stephen Jenkins was going to be a leader on this defense and so forth, and especially kind of taking over that leadership role at linebacker. Was it particularly disappointing with the news of the suspensions regarding Stephen and the fact that the first time he steps on the field this season is going to be against Alabama?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I think that's more of a question for Coach Sumlin than it is me. I will say this, you know, there have been increased standards and expectations around here, and there's a learning curve, and it's just like our children. If I put a new rule down in my house, and it's going to take my children a while to figure that rule out, just like this targeting rule we're talking about. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there. Is it disappointing? Sure, but you know, again, everybody's going to want to talk about this Alabama game, and obviously, I've had 2 weeks to know about this thing right here, and they've got 5 weeks. So they've played one game. Our guys have played none. Okay, so maybe they got a game advantage on us there, but they're still practicing with us. They're still tackling. They're still doing all those things. They're still getting the 2 reps at practice. When you guys see us out there today, you know, those guys that are not playing Saturday will be with the 2 still practicing.
Already rules that they have. These guys have been playing football, some of them since they were 10. How hard is it to get them to change just the mental and physical aspect?
We just had this, I can't believe you brought that up. We just had this conversation 15 minutes ago watching our opponent film because it was last year's film. And I played free safety, and I said to Coach Yates, I said, it happens so fast sometimes that you've been doing it since you, like you said, you were this little. It's hard to lower your target and go where you normally don't go. There's a degree of difficulty there. But, again, it is the rules, just like the increased standards and expectations of our players. It's the rule. So we are going to have to mentally, as players, visualize myself going lower, not going towards the head. But I think there is a degree of difficulty there, without a doubt.